Hello, kiddo. How are you today? Would you like to hear a new story? I would be very glad to tell you a story entitled Rumpelstiltskin. Are you ready? Let's begin. There was once a miller who had a daughter so beautiful that the king himself got to hear of her loveliness. He was unable to contain his curiosity and set off for the mill to see her for himself. Gracious, how lovely she is! He sighed the moment he spied her. The miller thought that the king himself was not a bad match for his daughter, and in the hope of enticing him, he lied. What of her beauty, my lord? My daughter can spin gold from straw. The king could scarcely believe his ears. Bring her to my castle tomorrow, he ordered the miller. When he had gone, the miller's daughter was dismayed. Why did you say that, father? She said. What a fool I shall appear before the king tomorrow. But the miller told her that it would all turn out well in the end. And the next day he took her off to the royal palace. There the king shut her up in a room full of straw. You must spin all this straw into gold by morning, or I shall have you pilloried, he told her. The girl began to cry. At that moment, the wall in the corner cracked like an eggshell, and into the room leapt a mannequin, dressed in clothes of straw. What will you give me if I spin a roomful of gold by morning? He asked. The girl promised him her ring, and the mannequin sat down at the spinning wheel. By morning, he had spun all the straw into gold. The king was astonished, and the next evening he shut the poor girl up in an even larger room with an even bigger pile of straw. The moment the king had turned the key in the lock, the mannequin appeared and asked the miller's daughter for some present. So she gave him her necklace, and the little creature spun and spun. And in the morning the king was overjoyed to see his new-found riches, but ever greedy for more. The third night the poor girl had nothing to give the little man. The mannequin frowned darkly and said, Very well, I shall spin for you tonight also, but you must promise me the first child that is born to you. The unhappy girl promised, thinking there would be time enough before it came to such a thing. The mannequin set to work. When the king saw the pile of gold the next morning, he delayed no longer and took the miller's daughter as his wife. Before a year had passed, a little son had been born to the royal couple. He had a golden star on his forehead and little alabaster arms. The joyous queen did not want to leave her child even for a minute, but one night at midnight, the wall beside his cot cracked open like an eggshell, and into the chamber stepped the mannequin. Give me the child, he screamed. The queen burst into tears and cried and cried. She begged the little man not to take away her son. Very well, he said in the end with a frown. If in 3 days you can guess my name, you shall keep your child. If not, I shall take him away. With these words, the little man disappeared from sight. The moment the sun set the next day, the mannequin appeared again. The moment the sun set the next day, The mannequin appeared again. "Guess what? I am called Mo Queen," he chuckled. "Peter? Paul?" she tried. Matthew? Giles?" she went on, but the little man only grinned fiendishly, hopped on one leg, and said triumphantly, "Dear, dear, nowhere near." As midnight struck, he disappeared again. The queen did not sleep a wink, trying to think what the little man's name might be. But when the little fellow appeared again the next evening, she ran through all the names in the calendar in vain. "Dear, dear, nowhere near," the mannequin screeched over and over again, and at midnight he again disappeared like a whiff of smoke. The evening of the third day was drawing near, and the queen was beside herself with grief. Then a shepherd arrived at the castle. "I saw a strange sight in the woodland glade today, my queen. Two spectres were warming themselves before a fire. A third, a strange little man. He was dancing on one leg and singing. The day before yesterday I ate gruel, yesterday a sweet bread roll, and today I shall roast myself a prince. What a feast for Rumpelstiltskin!" No sooner had he told his tale than a grinning little man stepped into the chamber. "I have it!" cried the queen. "You are Rumpelstiltskin!" The goblin scowled like thunder, as if he had bit on a sore tooth. "The devil himself must have given it away!" he screamed, and he caught hold of both his legs at once and tore himself apart. With rage, so much rage. And that was the end of Rumpelstiltskin. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed our story for today. Till my next video. God bless. Bye.